What does it really mean to be a woman in 2025? My goal with this series is to uplift women in today's world by sharing real stories behind the illusion of social media and status. This is a space for honesty, for open conversations with women who are brave enough to speak their truth. In this episode, we talk about what it really feels like to carry the weight of doing it all: motherhood, business, and the endless expectation that comes with both. It's a conversation about burnout, balance, and the quiet pressure to be everything all at once. Here, we talk about the struggles, the lessons, and the resilience it takes to be a woman today. Because we don't have to do it all by ourselves. We can do it together by being honest, vulnerable, and real.
My name is Lindsay. I always introduce myself first and foremost as a mom of three. I am a small business owner, and right now I do a mix of things. So I am a marketing and communications professional by trade. So I have a couple contracts where I support businesses with their marketing and communications efforts, social media, and I also do a little bit of association manager work as well. In addition to that, I own my own photography business. There I do family events, families, and corporate events as well.
Cool. So it sounds like maybe your communication job is more of a functional job, and
Yes.
then your photography would be more of a fulfillment job.
Absolutely. I'm not an entrepreneur at heart. I think for a lot of small business owners, their passion or their drive is to just be employed for themselves and always work for themselves. And that wasn't necessarily my passion or my why, I guess. It was more out of necessity for my family and my schedule that I needed to figure out how I could work for myself. But when I say that I'm not an entrepreneur at heart, waiting for contracts or waiting for photography jobs and inconsistent income, it's not for the faint of heart. And when I first started doing that, when I first started basing my income solely on photography, as much as it was manageable, I found the stress for me was just too much. I always felt like I was having to grind, make sure that I was making enough, that I was working enough, that if I didn't have enough booked, that I was figuring out how I was going to get things booked. The contracts allow me to keep up with my skill set that I already had, but to make sure that I'm bringing in a consistent income monthly. And then the photography, I kind of look at it now as more of a bonus.
What does your support system look like?
I have a very supportive husband. So he does work full time. There was a time where I was the key parent. I was the parent that was called to pick up from school with no option other than to be the one that was always homesick with them. And that's shifted a bit. So that helps. That it doesn't always feel like it's on me if they need to be home. My mother-in-law retired the same year we had our first, with the intention of, I am going to be grandma. Like, I am going to give my time now to helping watch our oldest. And she did that for all three of our children, which is amazing because that's what she had. My husband and his sister were babysat by their grandma. And I had the same thing with my grandma. And so luckily, she decided that that's what she wanted to carry on and to be able to spend that time and kind of those really crucial years to be able to spend day in and day out with them. So we were really fortunate to have that.
It sounds like you have a tradition of women supporting women in your family.
Absolutely.
Do you think society's expectation of women have evolved from previous years?
I think the expectations are for us to do it all. And in the 50s, like I said, with my nan, with the way that things were done for her generation, her focus was the home, the family, keeping house, making the meals. I feel like there's still that expectation, even though there has been a shift. And of course, like I said, like with my husband, like we are a partnership. There's definitely roles that we both have in the home, that there's things that I do and there's things that he does. Like garbage day is his, like that is, but I think the expectation, it's like, for women to be career oriented, put their careers first. I don't think that gives us as moms the flexibility or opportunity to really be great at both. And I think too that like society, especially right now with how our economy is and how the world is right now, the fact that if you do want to be a stay-at-home mom, it's really unlikely that you're able to do that. That we're able to have one income households is few and far between now.
What do you wish society understood about women today?
I guess I can only speak for myself, not women in general. But what I wish was that we found it hard. I found it hard to find the balance, to give myself to everything and to everyone, and then also not burn out, to not struggle. I think we try to have the career. We try to be great moms. We try to be great friends, great daughters. And it gets to a point where something's got to give. For a lot of us, and for myself included, that looks like full-on burnout. I think, we carry a lot of the unseen mental load. I think as much as, and like I've said, I have a great support system, a really great partner, but inevitably it always is coming back to me. I'm the one that remembers the birthdays, the parties, the RSVPs, the doctor's appointments, the camp, when the schedule's open. It's just popped into my mind that I said I would register the kids for the Home Depot Halloween craft thing, and I'm pretty sure that was on Monday, and it's probably full now. So, it's just like, it's always on our minds and on our hearts, I think, a lot more than, and I think other women know this. I don't think it's society. I think it's more like, what do men need to understand maybe about women in society?
What advice would you give to young women today that are either just starting a family or just starting off in a career, or both?
I automatically think of my daughter, who is not in those situations yet, but is only 8. I think for a lot of us, the expectation to be really great and the message of you can do anything and you can be anything that you want to be is really lovely. But I don't know that that's the right messaging that we should be giving our young girls. I think just being supportive and showing them what it means to be supported when you make mistakes and be supported when you are doing really great things and be supported when you are not doing so well, whether that's mentally or physically. I think that needs to be our focus, because I think we kind of push our girls to have the mindset of like, you're going to be great. You can do anything, because for so long girls couldn't do or be anything they wanted to be. But I think it puts this pressure on us that not just that we can do anything, but that we have to do everything, and that we have to be everything, that we have to be thin, that we have to be pretty, that we have to be smart, and that we have to have a career, and that we have to have a family, and that we have to make money, and that we have to not be in debt, and that we have to keep up, and we have to be not anxious. I'm listing all the things that I've struggled with. And I think we put a lot of pressure. And so I would just, especially for my girl and for girls now, be true to yourself and trust yourself. Because I think a lot of the time we just strive for perfection. And if we do that, we're setting ourselves up to inevitably burn out.
And fail.
At
least feel like a failure.
I think when I think back to myself and in my early 20s, I had a plan. I wanted to have a career where I made a good salary, and I'd buy a home, and I'd get married, and I'd have a family. And my husband and I have been together since our late teens. So it was kind of easy for us to just like have that plan and have that idea. It did kind of fall into place. Then I started to really struggle with managing all of that once I started having a family. As somebody who had anxiety growing up, I really managed it well into my early 20s until I had my kids. And then everything changes, everything shifts, and your priorities change, and you as a woman changes, and your hormones and all of the things. And I think, again, it goes back to like, you can be great, you have to be great. And it's like, I don't feel like I'm being really great in any aspect of what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm doing a great job at work because I'm worried about my kids. And I struggled to leave the house this morning because somebody was having a meltdown because I was leaving. And so, I spent my drive in trying not to cry because I've had to just leave the kids and then come in to an office where I'm not really, not happy to be there, but that I'm making my way through my days so that I can get home and do the grind of having a couple hours with the kids of meals and bath and getting them into bed and maybe having some time with my husband by the end of the night if I'm not too exhausted, or if I just want to scroll on my phone because I'm so brain dead from all of the things that I've tried to manage and keep up with all day. And I just think it's like making sure that girls are setting realistic expectations for themselves.
Lindsay, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.